The information that I'm about to present here is frightening. There's really no way around that. However, I request that you do your very best to maintain a calm state of mind. Right now in West Africa, the worst Ebola outbreak in history is in full swing and is jumping across borders at an alarming rate. Already, it has spread to 4 countries: Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and now Nigeria. This latest jump into Nigeria is particularly serious since the infected individual carried the virus by plane into Lagos, Nigeria, a city with a population of over 21 million. Doctors Without Borders has referred to the outbreak as, quote, out of control. To make matters worse, there's something very, very important that the corporate media and public health officials aren't telling you regarding this crisis. You'll notice if you read virtually any mainstream article on a topic that they make a point of insisting that Ebola is only transferred through physical contact with bodily fluids. This is not true at all. A study conducted in 2012 showed that Ebola was able to travel between pigs and monkeys that were in separate cages that were never placed in direct contact. Though the method of transmission in the study was not officially determined, one of the scientists involved, Dr. Gary Kobinger from the National Microbiology Laboratory at the Public Health Agency of Canada, told BBC News that he believed the infection was spread through large droplets that were suspended in the air. Quote, "What we suspect is happening is that large droplets, they can stay in the air, but not long, they don't go far, but they can be absorbed in the airway, and this is how the infection starts. And this is what we think because we saw a lot of evidence in the lungs of the non-human primates that the virus got in that way." End quote. Translation: Ebola is an airborne virus. Now, I'm not going to speculate as to whether these so-called journalists and public health officials who keep repeating the official line regarding the means of transmission are lying or are just participating in some massive display of synchronized incompetence. But what I will say is that this shoddy reporting is most likely getting people killed right now, and may in fact be putting all of humanity in danger. How so? Well, think about it for a second. By convincing people that the virus cannot travel through the air, important precautions that could reduce the spread of the virus are not being taken. For example, the other passengers on the plane that traveled to Lagos, Nigeria were not quarantined. To put this into context, Ebola kills between 50 and 90% of its victims. So the stakes are very, very high here. This particular strain of Ebola is not Ebola Zaire. This is a new strain, and it may in fact be more dangerous than the Zaire variety, not because of any difference in the symptoms. Symptoms are identical, but because this new virus seems to be harder to contain. Whether this is due to some characteristic of the virus itself or merely dumb luck is uncertain at this time. But the rate at which this outbreak has extended its range is unprecedented. Right now, the question on everybody's mind is whether this virus will spread outside of Africa. Considering the fact that Ebola has a 3-week incubation period, can travel through the air, and has already hitchhiked on an international flight, this is a real possibility. There are some who are downplaying the probability of this outcome, and to be honest, I hope that they're right. But the simple fact of the matter is that these people are basing their assessment on the faulty premise that Ebola is not an airborne virus. Now, the first thing you might be feeling when looking at this situation is a sense of fear.